Good. So this session, we're going to look at kind of primal, what's known as kind of primal movements or primal movement patterns. So these are movements that are really about practicality, functionality. So they're kind of outside the realm of Aikido, but really used in a way to increase mobility and increase, the main thing is increase the feeling of ground sense, of being really blending with the ground. So in a sense, these aren't traditional Ukemi practices, but these are ways to kind of, in my experience, these are faster ways to get people friendly with the ground, to make friends with the ground faster than the rolling patterns. The tendency with, especially with beginners and people that are a little bit older when they come into Aikido, is this fear of falling really inhibits the ability to practice and learn the skills in Ukemi. So these are used in a way to kind of get the people back into natural movement patterns that we used to use as children and maybe don't use quite so much anymore. So, and it's also getting into a sense of playfulness that we also tend to lose as we age. So it's trying to get back into that kind of pattern. Okay. The first one is really about hinging, and for us, quite a comfortable position going into Seiza. So what in this case is, I'll show the kind of full movement. We're going to kind of build up and then go into variations. You're going to just basically hinge the body up, straighten up, full extension. I'm going to really reach in the pelvis, lifting, and I want you to really use the ground, hands in the ground, and then if you can, hinge the knees down. Work the knees into the ground, using the hands to balance the space, into the ground. That's the backs of the feet into Seiza. Nice and simple. So we're going to start very easily using the hands. We're going to hinge. Hands. Bring close to the body, and then hinge up through the pelvis. Nice and easy. Just going to stretch up the arms. Stretch down, reach down by tilting, lifting the pelvis and reaching down. The head can release. Walk the arms forward a little bit, and then hinge the knees. Find the ground with the knees. Find the flats of the foot, and then just come back into sitting. Nice and easy. Again, using the hands. Find the toes. Hinge up through the knees. Straighten extension. Walk the feet. Walk the hands back to the feet. And just curl up through the body this way. One more time. I'm going to stretch up. From the pelvis. Reach for the ground. Loosen the head. And then start to hinge the knees. And the Seiza. Flats of the feet. And then back down this way. Okay, a little variation on this one now. Back up. You're not going to use the arms, so you're going to stretch up. Bring the arms down. I want you to reach for the ground, but don't place the hands on the ground. Just have them floating above. Yeah. Keep the backs of the legs straight if you can. And then hinge the knees. Hinge the knees. Don't really have any weight in the hands. And then see if you can reach the knees slowly to the ground. Make contact. Keep the hands off the ground. And then the flats of the feet, sit into it. This way. The same practice. If you need to use the hands, but ideally do this now without the hands. Hinging up. Fold up the body. And then fold up this way. Yeah, so you're going from full extension. Flexion here. All the way down. Knees to the ground. Flats of the feet in the ground. Coming out. In this case, when you come up, really flex, hinge the body up this way. So really this way. This way, and then fold up the body. One more time, going down. Fold. Flex the knees. Find the Seiza. And sit down into it. That's fine, coming up. Find the feet. Flex the body up. And back up. Good. We'll do this a few more times. You can play now with just variations on it. As you come down, you can also, with the hands, take the backs of the ankle. Really increase the flexion here. Coming down. What you can also do in this case is play with the body arcing back. Arc up this way. And you can also play with the body coming down to the ground, all the way down. Yeah, so just within your range of motion, just play with slight variations in the form, in the basic, going from extension, full flexion of the torso, finding the knee to the ground, coming into the Cesar, and then you can do whatever movement you feel like within your range of flexibility. And come back up. So just a few with the variations. You can also skip the Cesar pop. So you can skip the knees being on the ground. Roll. This way. You can play with variations within the full form. You can actually skip parts of it. Really just play with this form. Folding, kneeling. And then this the last time. I want you to just play now within the variations, also within the basic form. Just play with it being really fluid. So you're going to flow through it now. So really flow through each set. So no pauses. Just keep everything loose. In this case, use the hands or not, but just flow for a few times, 5 or 6 times. Let's play within the basic form. Variations. Just follow the body. That's good. Yes. Ha! Wait. Great. Creative. Great. Great. Okay, good. Can everyone see this camera okay? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is what's known as a kind of crawl switch. And in this case, it's going from a crawl position, like this, and you switch into a grab position. What's known as a kind of grab. So, rotate. Crawl. To a grab position here. Okay, we're going to start, because this can be quite tough on the shoulder. And what I don't want to do is over-rotate and come out of the shoulder. So in this case, what I don't want to do is kind of come into these kind of positions. You see? Like,
yeah.
Position.
You're talking to the wrong camera, Michael.
I'm on?
You're talking to the wrong camera.
Oh, yeah?
Look to your right. Look to your right.
I'm going to talk to you here.
You're on your other
No, talk
side.
to the one on the chair.
Watch my shoulder.
Michael, talk to the one on the chair.
No.
Can't see you.
Go ahead.
Yeah? Okay. Well, in this case, what I want to really avoid is the shoulder coming forward and out this way. So forward. Well, all the work we did before on the shoulder joints, back and down. So in this case, this is quite a tricky move to keep the shoulder in good structure. The tendency is to go into these kind of positions where the shoulder comes out. If I work with these kind of positions at speed, it's really going against the joint system, will cause a lot of injury. So in this case, what I want you to do is just from here and arc through here, the body this way. So you're going to keep all the contact points in the ground, and I want you to just keep the shoulder blades back. No point do the shoulders come forward and up. And you can feel it if you like, go into the structure. So you can go into a weaker structure here. You'll feel the body just automatically collapses, comes down. This is one of the main causes when people start to learn Ukemi. they start to injure. The shoulder becomes injured because automatically the shoulder's weak and it collapses. It goes into this frontal position, and that's when if you impact into the ground, you will cause a serious injury in the shoulder, especially the rotator cuff area. So in this case, just play with the shoulder. Yeah, I'll face it. Back down. Just do a good shoulder structure. Raising up. It's totally comfortable. And as soon as I get to this position, the body feels like it wants to collapse. Same thing, both feet on the ground, and do the same thing with the shoulder. Keep it back and down and just raise the body up through it. This way. If you like, you can brace the shoulder, support it. Just like this. And again, I want to avoid this kind of position. This is where the arm will collapse and my body will come down through it. So just do a few each side. One hand, stretch up the body through it. Shoulder back. Back. Once I've got that structure established, I can really start to. Good. Both sides.
He just got it.
Keep the shoulder back, down. That's it. Good. Okay, good. Now with the opposite hand, you're going to kind of pull the foot from the crab. You're going to reach up, and then with the other hand now here, keeping this structure, hinge up, and just have the feeling of reaching over. You're not going to reach the ground yet, so you're not going to place the hand down. Just have the feeling of rolling over. This is very similar to the last stretch we did of rolling over the body this way. This is a stronger stretch, but in this case, the same kind of feeling. Keeping the shoulder back and down, rolling back, and as if you're just going to touch it. If this is very easy for you, you can also really increase the spiral here, all the way to the back. Keeping the shoulder in a good structure, and then roll all the way back. This is a bit more of a complicated movement. But for those, just starting it this way. Just have the feeling of reaching the ground. If you're just going to touch the ground, touch the other hand with the opposite hand. Good. Just a few and change sides. So left hand down, really raise, hinge the body up, and then reach over with the back hand. Hinge the body up, keep the shoulder back and down, all the way through the rotation. So again, don't let, during the rotation, don't allow the shoulders to come forward. Good. Good. And then what I want you to do is each side, just do one, hinge back, and then place a hand, hinge back, hinge, reach around. So you're not placing the hand down, just reaching over, hinging down, hinging. Placing the hand down, hinging over, hinging over, hinging over. Good. Good, keep going. That's it. Nice. Great, great, great. Okay, good. So we go to the front now. So you're going to be in a kind of front crawl position. Keep this kind of comfortable. So not in a kind of press up position, but with all four joints, like a kind of in this kind of position. What you're going to do now is bring the hands and the feet together this way, and then you're just going to reach over the back this way, and then just come back. So just do this one side, hands and feet together, and then reach over the back side. Yeah, pay particular attention to the shoulder. Again, don't let it roll out forward. If it rolls out forward, this is where the structure collapses. So this one really, place the hand down, strong with the shoulder, and then rotate the body as fully as you can. Just one side, shoulder, stretch up, the back down. this one. Hands and feet together, and then start to roll the body out. Hands, feet together, roll the body out. Three, five, up. That's it. Okay, now we combine these movements together. So this is where you go from a crawl, switch into a crab. So we're going to start with the crawl position. Again, keep it flexible here. Hands, feet together. And what you want to do is just one side. Rotate over. The foot comes down first. Foot comes down first. And then coil the whole body back. Come into the crab. Yeah, and then just reverse this whole movement. So the hand comes first. Hand comes first. Roll over. Foot. And then come back here. We do this hands, feet, curl, foot, hand. Hand raises, hand lifts off the ground, curls, hand down, foot, hand. Yeah. So bring the feet, hands together, coil out to the back, find the crab. Feel comfortable, and then reverse it. Four or five times on that side. Good. That's it. Nice. And then to the other side. So bring the feet, hands together, rotate the body, come into the crab. Slowly, so that during the weight transfers, the structure is this rotation here. Shoulder back, down. And very similar in terms of Aikido, which is also a good training tool for Kokyu. What I don't want to do is extend the arm like this way. I extend the arm again, it starts to weaken. I go straight into the shoulder joint this way. So the arm needs flexibility, especially the elbow. So it's like a Kokyu move, this way, this way. So there's an arc that runs through the body, this way, even in this position. There's really a sense of Kokyu through the arms. Good. That's it. Super. Good. And now you're going to do a full rotation with it. You're going to go from crab to crab, and then switch back the other way. Just do one full rotation. Hands together, feet, come into crab, and reverse it out this way. Yes. This side.
Mag dit meedoen natuurlijk?
Yeah. Let me get to this right. So full rotation now. So crawl, switch to crab. Good.
Switch.
That's it, buddy. Great. Good. Right. Good. Good.
Okay.
Good. It's super easy for you. But you skip steps out. So now what I'm going to do is come back, Roll over the. So this is basically using 2 or 3 points of contact. Yes, you're really gonna coil out, roll through. Yeah, so you can do this flexibly. To the left, not turn out with less points of contact, which means I'm gonna swing the leg through this way. Swing the leg through. This is really into a fluid. It can really swing out. Also, I can do this just with 2 points. So again, just explore variations in the form. Really challenge your ability to stay balanced. Press into the ground with the joint. Just enjoy the movement. You can. Good. Nice. Yeah, that's it. John, great. That's it. Super, John. Yeah, great. Nice. Okay, good. Just take a few minutes. Relax. Bend out the body. So the next movement, primal movement, is where we go into animal crawling or animal walking. Walking in this case. Actually, introduced from the last one, you're going into a kind of crab position. This is one of the animal walks as well. Not really an animal, crustacean. But in this case, one of the animal walks is to use the body this way, forwards and back. If you ever did judo, you're probably very familiar with these kind of moves. In this case, we're going to start with one that's really great for the extension. So I'll show you first. The first one's just a bear. So in the case of a bear, you keep the legs extended and the arms extended. Do it like this way. You're going to basically go with the leg and go with the hand. Go with the leg, go with the hand. And you're going to keep the joints extended. This way, as much as you can. Keep all the joints extended. Lift from the pelvis, move the body through. It's fully extended. Hand. You're going to alternate foot and hand. Yeah. Give this a try. So this is bear walking. That's it. Good. Yeah, good. So if you can in this one, there's also variations on this form where you start to come into different walks, but in this case, especially the straight. And what this does is really promotes hip flexibility. So if the joint's really in full extension, I can only really move from the hip. I have a feeling like the hip is the thing that's going to flex, but not the leg and the knees in this case. So especially with the front, it doesn't matter so much about the extension, but really pay attention in the back. Try and really keep the back legs straight. So really feel really allow the hip to make the flexion. Something like this. As if from the hip down, the leg has no flexibility. So now, just play with that. Vary the weight in the arms so that you can really play with the extension, full extension in the arms. In the leg. Yeah, that's it. Good. That's it. Yeah. Okay, and then what you're going to do is go to what's known as an inchworm. So in this case, you come down, hands and feet together. This time you bring the hands forward, out, and then you bring the feet. In this case, 4 steps. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's known as an inchworm. You can do this for as far as you can extend, but just for now, keep it comfortable. So you can do forwards, backwards, 4 steps with the feet, 4 steps with the hands. Handwork and footwork separate. Then keeping the backs of the knees extended. Really work the hip. Good. So the inchworm. That's it. Great. Nice, nice. That's it. Okay, good. So we're going to do one that's a bit more flexible, a bit more fun. In this case, this is like a monkey. So this is where you start to go into monkey, much more similar to the way humans move. So when you start to go to kind of great apes, which we are, monkeys. In this case, you're going to really use the flexion in the knees and the flexion in the arms. So in this case, you're going to use a lateral movement to the side. So have weight in the arms, but not too much. So the hands are kind of taking maybe 20%. 10-20%. Most of the weight's in the pelvis and the lower body. Yeah, what you're going to do in this case is cross the hand. So first the hand comes over, crosses, and then the foot comes over, crosses. And then you're going to bring the arm out, bring the foot out. So you basically cross the hand, cross the feet, then come out. So each time you're going to cross over the body, cross over the legs, hand, foot. So again, hand, foot, hand, foot. Yeah, just move step by step to start. Cross. You can cross either side of the body, so you can go underneath or over the top. Just explore what feels kind of natural. Side, underneath, or outside.
Michael, do you want the hips to be quite like same level, or do you want the hips to be a bit lower, a bit higher? Or?
In this case, if you think like monkey movement, the hips are always going to kind of stay low. So what I'm doing in this case is bring the hips so far up high. Once you start to go where the hips are high, this is where you start to go into the arms supporting the body. So if the hips come too far up, this is where I'm going into other kind of walks up. In this case, the hips and the pelvis are quite low. Yeah. So when you do this movement, keep the hips kind of low. So they're kind of sitting down into the body. So my weight is actually mostly on the feet, almost all in the feet, and the hands are just used now as supporting. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, thank you, Michael.
Just keep the majority of the weight in the lower body, in the feet, and allow the hands now to just play a supporting role. So, this is where you can start to feel that the hands, you can start to use them for other things. So this is where in our evolution, the hands started to become able to manipulate, and they stop to load, they stop bearing weight, and they start to be able to manipulate things. Just feel that the hands are actually free to move. The legs, the hips taking the majority of the weight. Good. That's it. Nice. Right. And then again, once you've got kind of comfortable with that, what you do is start to kind of skip through the steps. So in this case, you can skip through. Or really have a sense of body's going to kind of pound through. the movements. Yeah, so in the kind of basics, you're going to place the hand, place the foot, release, hand, foot. But in this case, they're going to happen, the transition's going to happen fluidly. So the feet and the hands. Play with kind of inside, outside. Really try and make this now fluid. So play with the movement. Good. And if you find this very easy, the lateral way is kind of a simple way. The body's coming over and then coming over this way. But what you can also do is obviously play with rotating with the body as well. This way. So you can really move the body, crossing the joint. So keeping the majority of the weight in the hand. And this, in this case, the arms are going to give you direction. So this is one of the teachings from the Ukemi, is that the legs are away and the arms give me a sense of direction. So in this case, allow the feet to bear the weight and the arms are just going to give me a sense of where the body goes. So place the hands to determine where the body follows. Crossing the line. Also placing all the weight into the heels, into the feet, and then coming into the hands. This way. Good.
That's it. That's it, right? Good.
Keep going. You can go. Okay, a few more. Okay, in this case, the next primal movement is working into a cartwheel. But in this case, you're actually going to transition this again from monkey movement into the cartwheel. So you're not going to do a kind of full classic cartwheel this way. What I want you to do is have a sense of being on the ground. You're just going to place the arm. The difference with this one is you're going to go laterally here, and then I'm going to rotate the body over. So you're going to go here, over to the side. This way. Your hand's going to follow. Come up with it. So in this case, you're doing a kind of inversion. The weight of the body goes into the arms. So again, this to follow into the Ukemi work. This is where you make a transition where the arms start to take the weight of the body through the transition of the roll. So in this case, this is building up to this practical skill that you learn later in the Ukemi, but it's a bit unclear in the Ukemi. So when you do this one, the body leans over to the side, press the hand into the ground, and then over, and then lift both feet off the ground. So both feet come off the ground at the same time. And then just do small movements up. Now just play with a kind of rotation. So you go to the front, place the hand, lift the feet up. Yeah, just give that a try.
Good. That's it. Ah, good. There we go.
Okay, and again, if this is easy, if you're kind of comfortable with it, you can experiment with two things. One thing is coming from this position, straightening out, keeping the hands, raising the legs a bit higher. So coming over, raising the hands a bit higher. The other way you can explore, if you're kind of comfortable with the cartwheel, is do this from standing. And you just reach over, and you basically go into a full kind of cartwheel. So if you're kind of comfortable with those, do those. If you want to explore a bit further from this position, just come to here and just lift the torso a bit higher. It's really important that, again, shoulder back and down. So as you go over, watch for this kind of position. As soon as I go into this position, this is where the body's unstable and it will collapse through it. So keep the shoulder back down. Reach into the ground. And really feel the weight transfers right into the shoulder blades this way. This is like doing a dynamic handstand. So just play with, start to lift the feet gradually, more and more off the ground if you're comfortable. Go ahead. If that's super easy for you, if you're really advanced, you can do one-handed. So one. He's going to try to do one hand. So do it to your own level. Good. The main thing is that the weight's being transferred into the hand. So this is the main kind of teaching of it. Not necessarily, it's not really about the height and the gymnastic quality. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Just transfer the weight over into the arms. Good. Go. Great. John, great.
Yeah, super. Yep.
Okay, good. Just take a little bit of a break. That's kind of 4 primal movements. So the last one that we do is a roll. So this is one of the most natural movements that we have in our movement repertoire, and it's also the one we practice the most in Aikido. So it's the one we're kind of familiar with. But we're not going to cover it. We're going to cover it in the next session. So what you can do is add that later. We'll come back to these movements at the end, and we'll mix them in. What I want you to do is just 2 minutes moving between all these between these 4 positions. So I show them again, just so you know, you've got a kind of hinging movement coming into a Seiza position, this kind of way, and then hinging back up. The other one you've got is going from a crawl into a crouch. Yeah. The other one you've got is animal walk. So any kind of animal walk. We did bear, and we did worm, and we did monkey. So any kind of animal walk. Yeah. And then the last one is the cartwheel. Yeah, cartwheeling movement. So just explore all these movements freely, just for 2 minutes or a minute. We'll do a minute and a half, and just really move through them, okay, in your own time. So switch to fold to Seiza. You've got switching crab. You've got animal walk, and you've got a cartwheel movement. Yeah. So just play 1 minute and a half. Just move and keep in constant movement. Don't think. Just move. Just explore. So we're coming up to standing, coming down to the ground, all the way into the ground if you like. Just 1 more minute. Good. 20 more seconds. Keep moving fluidly.
Good. Nice. Great.
Good. 5 more seconds. Great. And just slowly stopping. Coming back up. So just shaking the body out, especially the pelvis, the hips. Rolling into the joints. The wrists also take a lot of weight in the movements. You kind of check into the body if you've got any aches or any increased flexibility. Hopefully, you've got neck. Okay, great. So we'll take a bow out and then a little break, and we'll come back at 11 for the last. Good. So, hey, domo, arigato, domo.
どうもありがとうございました。